Last week's episode with Millana Snow was all about her healing journey, how the first 27 years of her life was so much struggle. But after her Saturn return, she really came into her own as a healer and felt empowered to help others and just to feel more comfortable about her value and her worth. So if you missed that episode, go check it out. It's all about her healing journey. And if you feel like you've been really struggling, you don't see the end in sight, this episode is really going to help you feel just comforted and knowing that your time is coming, because it is. And this process is part of the journey. And to be a healer and to truly help others in a very impactful way, sometimes it means that you have to go through these challenges and struggles yourself. So when you're on the other side, you can tell other people it's going to be okay. And this is how I did it. This is how I can help you, and be able to get those people where they need to be faster because you've gone through it and you can help them. And so that was episode 1, all about her Saturn return, her healing journey. And this week, the second half of the interview, Millana Snow, if you missed last week, she is an energy healer as well as the founder of Wellness Official. She shares her experience with money, the energetics of money, and what she needed to heal within herself so that she could make more money and to really feel abundance enter every area of her life. And we have wonderful insights and tidbits for you. I share some things that I've added to my own daily rituals and money manifestation abundance rituals that I believe are really going to make a big difference. Things that have worked for me, new things that I haven't seen people speak about in terms of personal healing and ways to think beyond who you are now, because the thoughts we have, our personality, our minds right now are based on what's happened in the past. And to get to a new place, you have to rewire your operating system. You have to give yourself a new set of beliefs. You have to empower yourself and be your number one fan and to be confident. So this episode is going to inspire you without a doubt. Let me know what you think. Enjoy. I want to talk about energetics of money. I feel like you are a master magician, manipulator of money in so many different ways, especially because in your second house of money and resources, you have Gemini. That's also your rising sign, how people view you as someone who has a very powerful mind, and you make money through the things that you're able to envision in your mind, the things you think about, the things you dream of. But Gemini is also the very much so like the OG influencer. Yeah, everybody wants to know like your opinions, and there's so much respect around that. But then, we talked about your Chiron in Gemini in the second house. So there's like kind of like that push and pull. People want to know what you say, but also at the same time, they're like, I don't believe this. This is not true. So, how did you get over the fact of like living on someone's couch, no money, but having the faith of like, this is all for something? Like, how did you see your relationship with money transform through the years?
That's a great question. Well, I thank you for all that reflection, because it is really amazing for it to be true now that I'm great with money. I definitely had to learn the hard way, and it was really ugly for a long time, and it didn't look promising from the outside, that's for sure. And I think, what's unfortunate for so many of us is that we aren't given the foundation of how to manage money or how to think about money in a way that is beneficial for ourselves and others. And so a lot of what I can see now looking back was this disempowered perspective and belief system around money and how it works. And one of the things that I really just can see so clearly about my former self that struggled with money was that I didn't believe that I could make a lot of money. I knew that I wanted to. I knew that other people were able to, but in my day-to-day experience, my relationship with money was of struggle, because that's what I saw, that's what I witnessed, and that's what I experienced for so many years. So if anyone out there is listening, it's like, if you think of money, or if thinking of looking at your bank account is scary, or thinking of making, enough money to have a few $100,000 in your bank account, or a few $100,000 to come through your income a year, or more millions, if you think of that and it feels like a struggle, something that's really hard, then that right there is the block. And everything that undergirds that, all the belief systems, the experiences that say, oh, yeah, that's true. For me, that was my issue. And so once I finally understood that, wow, my understanding of money is that it's a struggle, and that's why it's a struggle. Okay, I have to heal all those belief systems, all of those unconscious thoughts like money is hard, money is easier for men to make, money can only be for smart people, I'm not smart enough, all of that. Once you get through all of that, you realize that money is just another thing that we're able to move and play with, just like water, just like earth, right? It's an element of sorts. And so once I got that and I really reformulated and really reprogrammed my mind and my relationship with money, everything started to shift.
And what practices did you use? Like, what helped you shift your mindset? Because for people who have never done mindset work, it's tough.
Yeah.
It is very, very tough. And especially around something, that's so deeply rooted in safety, in identity. Like I think money is one of the most challenging things to change your perspective and mindset around,
Yeah.
because it's something that is just so embedded into your everyday life from a young age. Like you pick up on the signs from your parents of like what to believe around money and how safe you feel, and do you have enough to eat, do you have clothes, do you have a safe home, can you go on vacations, can you go to Disneyland?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
those things. So what helped you?
Yes. Well, this is actually one of the reasons why I just released my first course and online program for healers and creatives. And it's really just based on this exact point. It's all about the mindset. And what I found over the years and what I share in Thriving Aligned is a journaling practice that's very, very much getting you into altered states of consciousness to then start to speak to the different parts of yourself that are deeply entrained and programmed. And so one of the first places that I started to look was my mother and my father. And so for some of us, it may not be your biological parents, but whoever it is that raised you, really got to look at both the masculine and feminine sides of your childhood experience. What did they say to you, or what did they say, or how did they act about money? How were you taught to believe that you deserve or don't deserve money, safety, power, influence, etc.? So really looking at it, because it's very nuanced. Money is not just about money. It's also about influence. It's also about safety. It's also about power, right? And so when we start to look at, wow, I used to hear X, Y, and Z every day. Or some people will say, I hear money doesn't grow on trees, or you got to work really, really hard, right? So all of these different things, some of them seem very reasonable and quite literal, but what we later find out is that you've got infinite choices, infinite realities. So what might seem like the American way of looking at a thing is actually creating a reality that resonates with everyone that's around you that may not work for you. So for me, journaling, specifically morning pages, I find is one of the most powerful tools besides breath work. And that's something I teach and I really, really believe in, is one of the most powerful practices for altering your states of consciousness. But using those two different practices of really going to these deeper states of your unconscious mind to see, what do I believe I deserve? And what do these things mean to me? And then reconfiguring, does that work for me? And is that true? And that's really the starting point. I think that can really help someone if they practice that over and over again.
Oh, completely. I mean, I've been consistently journaling like every single day for the past few years. And the last like year and a half, I've been journaling more about money and trying to understand, where do these beliefs come from? And really just diving deep and understanding these stories. And then I really enjoy doing visualizations of of imagining money coming into my bank account, of imagining opportunities and clients that I get to work with, like really just future visioning.
Mm.
As I meditate, I find that that's very fun and gets you to a different state of understanding, like, hey, that might be a possibility if I can kind of see it happening
Mm-hmm.
in my mind, then maybe it could happen in the 3D world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And, I think visualization is one of the most powerful tools that we have in our minds. And what I find often keeps us from being able to act from those visualizations or embody or even magnetize is our belief systems. And so, what I find is that beliefs are thoughts that we keep on thinking that are then confirmed by a feeling. So, I want to just recommend for anyone that's out there, like really working on the law of attraction and really working on visualization, be really conscious of those unconscious beliefs that then are impressed upon your reality through the power of your feeling and the power of you continually thinking those thoughts without your own awareness.
Oh yeah, and it's kind of like the operating system that's always running in the background.
Exactly. Exactly.
And really feeling is that the energy that really makes everything happen. So you may
Yes.
think one thing, but if you feel another way, then you know that there's misalignment and you have to kind of go back to your notebook, to other practices to really help you shift that narrative.
Yes, exactly.
You know, it's something fun that I thought of the other week.
What?
So, like for many people, we get wonderful downloads when we sleep.
Yes.
And when you wake up, you're like, "Oh." So I had the idea of doing Chinese affirmations
Ooh.
because my first language is Chinese and I was raised in a Chinese household. So that's the language my mom used to speak to me, but that is also the language that my mom used to teach me about the world and to set up
Wow.
my belief system.
Yes.
So then I was like, oh my God, I think I need to start doing my affirmations in English because obviously now I feel more comfortable with English. But I didn't realize until like a week or two ago that my operating system is probably in Chinese, the thing that's like running in the background, the
Wow.
subconscious. So I would really recommend everyone who has spoken a different language to kind of investigate, like, what does that mean for you? But even just like English words that may mean differently in your,
Yes.
yeah, in your household. Because then, Milana, I took it a step further.
Mm-hmm.
I awkwardly like messaged my mom. I was like, hey, mom, can you record some like meditations for me? Actually, I messaged her, but then called her over the phone because with like parents like who are immigrants and like don't really understand like this type of work, it's better to talk over the phone
Yes.
or even
Yes.
in person because sometimes I think she's like, I don't know what she's doing, but she's happy, so all right. So I asked her, I was like, hey mom, can you record some like things to help me meditate, like you are beautiful, like you are smart, you are courageous, you are brave, you can make a lot of money, like a lot of clients come your way, you're successful. She's like, why? What? That what? She's like, why would I do that? She's like, or I said something like millions of dollars are coming into my bank account or whatever. She's like, you can't say that. What? Why would you say that? That's what? And I'm like, mom, this is gonna be the thing that like makes me money. And why would you not do it if it has that possibility? So I know it made her feel super awkward because I was like, hey, pull up voice notes, do this. So she fiddled around for it a little bit.
Amazing.
But when I listened to that recording, it was pretty short. It was like 30 seconds. Oh my God, I cried.
Oh, I love that.
I cried so, so, so much
Oh,
because
so deep.
the words that she used, some words like I never even heard of them before.
Wow.
I was
That's
like,
so
what is this? Like, I
powerful.
had to put some things together. I was like, wait, I know what wealth is. And then I was like, I know freedom. I was like, wait, did she just say financial freedom in Chinese? I was like, I've never heard this
Wow.
ever from her, but really just from like, really just even living in China. Like, I never really heard of that phrase from family, just talking to people. And so I was like, wow, this is so interesting. And so it's something that I'm like, I was like, this is groundbreaking. I'm like, I'm trying to tell everyone.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Wow. Oh
It's
my,
fucking
can you like do like a little remix of your mom's meditation and put it out? I feel like a lot of people could really use that.
oh my god, she will die. I think I will. It's gonna be part of I want to make some albums on Spotify that help people with their like daily routine. So a morning ritual, evening ritual. But then I think the other one that I have an idea around is like abundance.
That would be so, so powerful. I
And
love that
and
story.
yeah, and money. But I just am like, I need to share this with everyone because, you know, Milana, there's not many of us in the space,
Mhm,
you know,
mhm.
women of color. And if we aren't, if more of us aren't getting into the space, then how can we heal more people? Because I have had many white teachers and they have taught me a lot, but also women of color have taught me
Yes.
things that I've never seen on Instagram or never seen spoken by like my white mentors because how could they understand?
Yes. Yes. And I always say, you know, and I've said to you, Alice, if we need you, we need you. I always say this to my colleagues in the space who are people of color. I'm like, please don't forget, we need you. So whenever, and even you, Alice, whenever you feel like, oh man, this industry is crazy, because it is, or wow, this world is crazy because it is chaotic, just remember that while you are your first priority and we all are here to heal ourselves, we also need to look to each other. And if we don't step up so that people can see us and see themselves in us, then we'll be waiting a long time. So I just want to thank
Yeah.
you, Alice, for everything that
Oh,
you've done as a Chinese American woman. And maybe do you, I don't know, do you identify as a Chinese American woman?
I
As a,
do. I
oh,
do.
amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
We
And
need you here. We need
oh,
you because there aren't that many of us of women of color in the space, but to be a Chinese American woman in the space is even more unique and powerful because so much of Chinese culture has been diluted and pulled from its origins and its depth and it's like the concentration of that
mm,
ancestral energy. And so we really need to bring some of that back in. And it comes from the people that brought that medicine to the planet. And you are helping to do that. So thank you.
oh, thank you. And I also have a unique experience in terms of I lived in China.
Yes.
I lived in China for 6 years,
Wow.
total 6 years. And not many people can say that they have lived in the place like where their ancestors are from. And it
Yes.
was not until many years after I came back to the US that I understood how profound that was.
Wow.
It unlocked different places, unlock different parts of us. And I believe that by going back to the place where my family is from for generations, it unlocked a sense of power
Yes.
that was
Yeah.
kind of forgotten during the struggle of Saturn return. But now that I'm in Los Angeles, I think it's a similar energy. I'm picking it up again, but it's in on Earth. There are many different realities existing. And
Yes.
if you are a person of color, of mixed ancestry, and you go to a place where people look like you, there is such a strong sense and feeling of safety.
Yes.
You don't
Yes.
even know. You don't even know. And I know
Yes.
you spent time in many places around the world. And when I went back to China, I was like, oh, whatever. And then a couple years in, I was like, oh, I don't need to put on makeup going to the gym.
Yes.
I can just be myself. I can blend in with everyone else. It's almost like it's so performative in the United States. Like, even if you don't want to, I feel like I'm always representing like the billions of people who look Asian. And
Yes.
I'm like, how is that fair? It's so hard for me to like explain and to share it. Not, I don't think every person of color feels that way, but I do believe that at a subconscious level, we all feel the weight.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think because we understand through experience in a way that a lot of Americans, white Americans, just don't have. You know, coming up in the wellness industry before it was called the wellness industry in New
Oh,
York,
yeah.
there was literally only one Black woman that was in the space, and her name is
You?
Latham Thomas. Before me, her name is Latham Thomas, and
Mm.
she literally was the only person that I would see speaking at some of these larger events and festivals that was a woman of color, let alone a Black woman. And once I saw that and was like, wow, that's interesting. I'm going into classes where I'm the only person of color. I started teaching. Wow, I'm the only person of color that's teaching at this entire festival of over 40 events. And that's when I realized, oh, okay. So if this is going to change, it's going to be because I help
Mm.
make that change, because it's not going to change otherwise, because nobody's seeing this as a problem. And this is before, Black Lives Matter even started
Oh,
them talking
yeah.
about. So things really have shifted, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for the people who are waking up to the need for diversity and inclusion. And it really is on us. And I take the responsibility to be on me to open those back doors that would otherwise remain closed.
I know, and you've always said this, and it's so important and it's so powerful to just hear someone say it, like, I will lift you up.
Yes.
I will lift you up. I'm here for you. And continue doing the work that you do. You are appreciated, you are seen, and your time is coming. Those are all the
Yes.
things you're always saying.
Yes. Well, thank you for listening to me. I appreciate
Mm.
that.
And it's the message that everyone needs to hear.
Yes, yes, and it's true. And that idea of your time is coming. If you feel like, man, when is it ever going to be my time? Just know that everything that's happening right now in this moment is the path, the foundation for what's necessary for your dreams to come true. This is inclusive. You have to have this so that that can be your reality. So don't poo poo where you are right now. Relish in it. Know that this is a part of this series of events that has to be included in the unfolding of your dream.
Yeah, and these series of events are it's the path forward for you to reclaim your power, your sense of autonomy, and just knowing who you are, being proud of who you are. And that sovereignty directly relates to your ability to call in money and the ability to call in anything that you dream of. They come in hand when you've become confident in yourself. Money is just like a byproduct.
Exactly. It's out of who you are that all of that comes. Because you are abundant, money comes to you, not the other way around. And when I finally got that, it's like, oh, well, if I'm not abundant, then that's where my work is. So out of who you are comes the success. Out of who you are comes your life partner, your clients that are your soulful clients, your financial and holistic well-being. It comes out of who you have become and are becoming. So if that feels disconnected, get on that work, because only you can do that.
100%, 100%. And so if people want to connect with you, how can they find you? How can they take that course for healers and other people who are in the wellness space?
Yes, thanks for asking. Well, I'm really excited about Thriving in Align. We just finished our first 6-week cohort where I worked with them in live events, and we're now pushing the program to go live this month, well, in March, so that anyone anywhere in the world can take the course as they would like. It's an evergreen program, and it will be available to anyone who is not just a healer, but is really seeking to make an impact on the world. So we have artists, we have perfumers, we have musicians in the group, and it's a really, really bright and amazing global community that you can connect with within that program. But everything in this program, and so much of what I teach, is about the internal work. When everybody asks me, Millana, how did you get to this place? I'm like, let me tell you, it's not about the social media algorithms and the newsletters. It's about the inner work. And then out of that, those solutions start to come to the forward. But this program is really teaching exactly what I've done over the past 10 years. So if you're interested, you can go to millanasnow.com. It's there. You can also DM me on Instagram. And yeah, I want to just invite you to come and check me out for TMI. That's our monthly energy healing and breathwork session we do every first Saturday of the month. So it's really about being in community and healing some very deep subconscious blocks, but also remembering who we truly are.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. For me, spirituality means a connection to myself, my higher self, as well as the universe. It's understanding that you are not alone and to really trust in divine timing. And something that I've been saying a lot to myself recently, and it's also the screensaver on my laptop, is that what you seek is seeking you as well. Now, we all are energetic beings, and our mood shifts from day to day. But this mood also dictates how you feel, the thoughts swirling around in your head, your actions, and what you're able to attract in your life. And when I got into this space, but when I became a more spiritual person, I truly began to understand what energy meant and how I was showing up in the world and the energy that I was sharing with others. And so I hope this episode really expands your thinking on spirituality, and having this trust in yourself and the universe can really transform your life, allowing you to feel more peace, allowing you to feel more clarity, and most importantly, allowing yourself to connect with the truest version of you, your most authentic self, and then how it allows you to live an aligned life. If you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed because you're early in your spiritual awakening, or you're going through a dark night of the soul, or you've kind of been exploring spirituality for a while but haven't really been able to incorporate it into your daily routine or have a daily ritual around it, I would love to be able to support you, whether it's through a career clarity reading or working with me one-on-one for 3 months or 6 months to help you figure out your purpose, to give you all the tools and foundation to really help you live an aligned life where you feel happy, waking up, doing what you do, loving what you do. And you can find how to connect with me in the show notes, or you can always reach me on my number. I like to call it my hotline, 202-918-3414. So 202-918-3414.